Hi, and welcome to the Wellness Blueprint with Tim and Christy, where you are empowered to change your health.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wellness Blueprint with Tim
and Christy.
This is exciting.
It's very exciting.
It's hard for me to get excited about anything, but I'm kind of excited about this. I'm pumped.
Yes. It's taken me a year and a half
I know.
to talk this man into doing a podcast with me.
Well, we're so busy with our own families and practice and all the other things going on, like pickleball. But, once you start talking about it and me just kind of looking at the bigger picture of what we're trying to accomplish here, it just made more and more sense.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm really glad you decided to do this with me. I think that we have a lot of knowledge that we can give other people to help them with their health condition. So I'm really, really glad that you decided to do this with me. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it is. And when you think about, I've been in practice 36 years. How many years for you?
21.
So when you take those combined years together and all the things that we've done in practice and all the patients we've seen, all the unique cases that we've had, and we've got so many different therapies and nutritionals and all the things that have helped so many individuals. And I've just thought, if we could take this to the rest of the world and share some of the things that we have learned, it's going to be amazing.
I definitely agree.
I guess when I look back over the years and practice, and I've had patients actually say this, they say, you know what, you help to empower patients to help themselves. And I think that's where it's at, because, coming into the office, that's one thing. And there's a lot of things that we have here that are beneficial, but really for us to empower the patients to be able to help themselves and their families, that's really where it's at.
I think that's why we both do what we do is, I love to help people. That's one reason I got into chiropractic, is to help people, and we get to do that every day. So I'm thankful for that. So,
hey,
go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk about our guest here.
Yes.
Yeah, so
that's Henry.
This is Henry. Henry's going to be coming along the path with us, and he's got some insight. We're going to be sharing some cool things about Henry.
And if you're not watching us and you're only listening, Henry is a skull. Henry the Skull. So we decided that he's been with us for a long time, so why not bring him on the podcast with us?
Yeah.
So he may be doing different things during the week.
Absolutely.
Different weeks. So we'll see what Henry has in store.
Henry's kind of quiet, but anyway, otherwise.
That's what we like.
Yeah.
We like quiet.
So what we're going to talk about this week.
Well, I thought we would just take this episode to get to know Dr. Tim Kammerman.
Okay.
And why don't you tell us how you became a chiropractor, why you chose chiropractic for your lifelong career, and we'll go from there.
Well, I definitely think this is my calling. I can't imagine doing anything else. And if I had to do it all over again, I'd be a chiropractor. And so it started back when I was young. I was probably 8 or 10 years old. And my father would end up on the floor and he would be in pain, just writhing in pain. And so I'm observing this. And back in those days, we would have a chiropractor come out to the house. He'd work on him, get him where he could get him to the office and get him better. And so I'm observing this. And then fast forward till I'm probably 13, 14 years of age. And the same thing, my dad's having some back problems and, couldn't hardly get out of the house. And so chiropractor comes to the house, gets him up and going. And I'm like, man, that's cool. I don't know what he's doing, but it's kind of cool.
That is cool.
So from that point on, from about, I'd say age 14, I said, that's what I want to do. I want to be a chiropractor. I'm not sure what they're doing, but I started sending off to different chiropractic colleges and getting their curriculum, because obviously back in that day,
no internet.
So I'm writing to schools. They're sending me curriculum and information, and that was my path. I decided that's what I wanted to be.
So you knew from a really young age that you wanted to be a chiropractor.
I did. Yes, yeah. I did.
That's cool.
That's where I started. That's why I say, it was a God thing. That was my calling, because I was one of the lucky ones that, I knew what I was going to do. I just got on and got my prerequisites, and went to
What
Louisiana.
did you do? Yeah, I was going to say, where did you go to undergrad?
Louisiana Tech University. I actually played some tennis there for a few years, and so that was fun.
And you play pickleball now, right?
I converted over to pickleball, and so maybe at a later podcast we can talk about that. But yeah, so went to Louisiana Tech University, and then I went to Palmer College of Chiropractic up in Davenport, Iowa. I am so glad that I'm not in the cold and the snow.
Oh, I bet.
It gets cold enough here, but yeah,
I took one class there one time, and it was very, very cold.
Yes. I'm glad not to be there, but it was a good experience. Everything learning there, and that's just the springboard, as you know. That's just the springboard to getting in practice and actually working on real life patients. So,
how many years did you go to school?
6 years. So back in those days, you could do a couple years of prerequisite and then 4 years of chiropractic, and so it went by fast. Got married about halfway through there. Lynn, of course, is a nurse, and she worked at a local hospital there while I finished up the last couple of years, and that's where we got our start.
Oh, well, that's a cool story. Most people, when they decide to be a chiropractor, they've either witnessed something that was miraculous, or they've been to a chiropractor before, or they're following in some family footsteps. So, everybody has their own story.
They do, yeah. And so I didn't have that miraculous case or whatever that I'm observing, or it wasn't on me. But I will say that along the way, I had an injury in off-season football.
Oh.
And
So
by the
you
way,
played football.
I quickly learned I was not a football player. But I played football. We had off-season. We were lifting weights and injured my back. And so I went to a chiropractor, and so that was an experience. But I wouldn't say it was miraculous. I was already on the path to becoming a chiropractor.
Oh, that's a cool story. So your dad actually had a little impact in that then. So
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And so very thankful for my parents. They were very supportive, and mom, of course, was just wonderful at cooking, baking, things of that nature. She always kept me in cans of tuna.
Cans of tuna.
I love tuna still today, but ate lots of tuna.
Hey, you're poor when you go to chiropractic college, because
I was poorer than poor.
Lots of tuna.
Lots of tuna.
Lots of peanut butter.
Lots of macaroni and cheese and rice-a-roni and anything that doesn't require skill to make. That's what I lived on.
Right. Yep. If it wasn't for my husband, I think we would have starved to death. He's the cook in our family, and he learned really quick. We got married before I went to chiropractic college, and so he learned real quick how to cook, or we would have starved.
Well, I was on my own, so I didn't have a Daniel there, didn't have Lynn there in the first few years. So lots of tuna, lots of hamburger helper. And I even, she sent a couple of cans of Spam that, even though I was poor, Spam didn't work for me.
You know what else that I think is pretty cool is you are always willing to help new chiropractors get started. Like if they have any questions, there's been numerous new people in town, that's not even in Searcy, that's come by to look at our office, and you're always willing to sit down and give them some encouraging words and answer any questions that they have. So I think that's pretty cool too.
Well, thanks. I have to admit that when I was first getting started, I went and observed some offices, talked to some chiropractors, and they invested in me. And so I think that's important. Sometimes you can feel competitive or things of that nature, but you have to look at, we all walk different circles. We go to different churches, and we have different civic organizations and things of that nature.
Well, and also not every chiropractor practices the same.
No.
So every office has their own way they run things, and the doctors have their own techniques. And so, you kind of have to, think about it that way too, is, I know that we've sent patients to other chiropractors in town if maybe we didn't take their insurance, or, we thought that they, had something that we didn't. And
some technique that we thought would be better served for the patient. And I think I'm glad you brought that, because that's important, because as you go through your chiropractic practice, it's a continual learning process. And that's why I'm so excited about this podcast is we're going to take information that we have learned, that we've learned from others, that we've learned from patients, that we've learned from seminars and each other. And so as you take on a process of understanding you don't know it all, and that you can learn from every individual, then you begin to grow. And so now I think it's time that we give back and we start sharing some of those things, not only with our patients here and other chiropractors, but actually around the world.
Right. I even learn from my patients every single day.
Absolutely.
Like they teach me so much, not necessarily about chiropractic or something like that, but I mean, they teach me a lot. I learn something new every day. So
I agree.
I'm thankful for that. So
well, that's my story.
Well, that's a good story.
Yeah,
Thanks for sharing.
This is what I'm supposed to be, and this is my calling, and so I'm happy to be on this path, and glad you're on this path with me
for 21 years now. 22 this year, actually.
You were a kid when you started, so yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited. Thank you for joining us.
Yes,
for
next episode we'll be learning how I become a chiropractor, and
Can't wait.
That one is not what you're going to expect at all. So
really?
No. Well, I told you. I will just say this.
I don't think you've told the whole story. I can't wait to hear the whole story.
Well, Dr. Cameraman only found out the true story 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And there's only a handful of my patients that know the true story that I've seen for years and years. So maybe I'll tell the truth. Well,
I know you're on the edge of your seat now, wondering what that story is going to be. So tune in to the next podcast, and we'll see you on the Wellness Blueprint with Tim
and Christy.